How's it hanging, people? Working on my Metroidvania project AESTIK for the past year has been a blast for me, and since I started sharing my project with you on YouTube about 2 months ago, quite some stuff happened. Recently we've passed the 500 subscribers mark, which is not only nice, but also a reason to celebrate. That's why I'm doing something different in this video. Thinking back, when I started making games I watched many devlogs. I still do, but now that I gained quite some experience myself, my view kinda shifted. It's not too much about learning things anymore, but more about entertainment. That might be the reason for the more humoristic approach to my own devlogs. Of course I still try to convey as much information as possible, but I want to keep it bite-sized. That's why there are still quite a few questions unanswered. So to celebrate 500 subs, I'll answer some questions about Astic, but also me as a developer in general. Some of those questions actually have been asked, but some I just thought might be interesting to answer. Let's get into it. So, what's the hardest part about working on the game so far? Although I ran into many problems working on Astic, I always found a solution. Sometimes it took me a while to figure it out, and it really can be quite hard at times, but in the end there is no problem that can't be solved. At least I think so. After all, I'm just a little bit ripping off more successful games. Yeah. To be completely honest, I think that the hardest part about working on a larger project is to be consistent. It's also one of the most important things, so that kinda sucks. On the bright side, being consistent isn't something you really have to learn, it's more about forcing yourself to do things. I don't believe that you should work multiple hours on your game every day if you're not motivated, but just try to finish some stuff every day. It will get easier. So, how many games have I finished? I think that finishing smaller projects is an essential step towards finishing your first real game. I want to be honest with you, I actually thought that my first project would be released on Steam one day. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But I didn't just abandon the project as I wanted to know how it would feel to finish a game. To say the least, I nutted. Good lord, something in my throat today. Anyway, there are many projects I didn't finish, which is completely fine too. There are actually only 4 games I finished and 3 of them were created within a week or so yeah. There were 2 projects I put more than a month of work into and I actually abandoned both of them. Astic came later, of course. When I started working on Astic, I kinda felt that it was the time for me to commit to it, and I still do, but it's still fun to create small projects occasionally. So, how big do I plan Astic to be? That's a tough question, as I really can't measure how long it would take me to create a certain average playtime. I guess it will be more clear eventually, but I'm planning to create a game that takes about 5 to 10 hours to complete. I just finished the vertical slice of Astic, so most of the features are finished by now, which means that the content creation grind is about to begin. I just want to create a fun, polished and complete experience. That's what matters the most to me. Recently I bought a game called Katana Zero. I paid $20 for a game that took me 3 to 4 hours to complete and I don't regret a thing about it. It's one of the most captivating games I've played in a long time and it just shows that the amount of content is not what it's all about. So why is my game called Astic? It does sound quite mysterious, doesn't it? I think that the name fits the game very well, even though I didn't plan to stick with it. At first I just wanted to create an aesthetically pleasing demo, so I gave it the working title Astic, which does sound quite similar to the word aesthetic. Yeah, I'm dumb. So, is there a playable demo for Astic? If you watched my latest devlog, you probably know that I've announced a Discord for the game. I'm happy to say that you're welcome to join it right now. The link is in the description, so what are you waiting for? That's also where I will share the download key for the demo of Astic, so if that's not enough reason to join... Ah yeah, there's one little surprise left. Back in April I started working on a small endless platformer called Sinky Islands. Since it's been quite a rough time for me personally, I hesitated to open up the project again, but I thought that now might be a good time to share the game with you. There are 9 characters to play, you can unlock most of them by collecting leaves or reaching a certain score. The latter will also raise the outgrowth level, which unlocks new level parts, obstacles and enemies. You can find the link in the description if you're interested. Even though it's not the most complex game in terms of gameplay as well as aesthetics, it's a really important project to me personally, and I want to dedicate it to my dear friend Byron. You will be missed.